Hey, I'm Rick, and in this video, I'm going to show you how a 24/7 voice AI agent that's programmed to handle calls works. And I'm going to show you how to build it. Watch how it handles a service call, qualifies the customer, and notifies the business owner, all automatically.
Thank you for calling Fresh Air HVAC Services. I'm here 24/7 to help. How can I assist you?
I need someone immediately. My heat stopped working.
Okay, let me get your information so we can get someone to you right away. What's your first name?
Rick.
Thank you. And your last name?
Test.
Perfect. What's the best phone number to reach you?
234-456-7899.
Let me confirm that. 234-456-7899. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. What's your email address?
rickdemotest@outlook.com.
Let me confirm that. That's rickdemotest@outlook.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect. What's your address?
123 Test Street, Chicago, 60606.
So that's 123 Test Street, Chicago, 60606. Is that right?
Yep.
Got it. Can you describe what's happening with your system?
I don't know what happened. The heat just stopped working.
Is the system working at all?
No, completely dead.
Okay. I have everything I need. I've logged this as an emergency. You'll receive an email confirmation, and a technician will contact you within 30 minutes. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Stay warm, and help is on the way shortly. Have a good day.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Take care. Goodbye.
As you can see here in the executions, took about 5 seconds for it to log to the Google Sheets, determine if it was an emergency, and then send the business owner an email as well as the customer an email, and then respond via the voice agent. So if we look here at the Google Sheet, it takes all the important information from the call. This is the business owner's email with the customer's information and a prompt to call them now, and the customer receives this email. So I'm going to show you now how to build this. Okay, so we're going to start in Vapi, and you're going to go to Create Assistant, and up here you can rename your assistant whatever you want. I called it Fresh Air HVAC Assistant, and we're going to change the first message. So, thank you for calling Fresh Air HVAC Services. How can I help you today? We're going to leave the model as OpenAI, and the provider is OpenAI, and the model as for a cluster. You can choose whichever model you'd like, and you can also change the LLM. The system prompt is essentially what you want your voice agent to do. So you can go to any LLM and say, hey, I'm building a voice agent. Give me the system prompt. I'm not going to do all that, so I just have a prompt that I've used before. I will say the more specific you are, the better the voice agent works. If you go into voice configuration, here you can choose the different voices. I like to use 11 labs, but you can see that there's a whole lot of other options to choose from. And even within 11 labs, there's thousands of voices. I'm going to choose Christine. There are a host of other different areas of configuration. For instance, you can change the way that the voice agent speaks. We're going to leave all of that as transcribers. We are going to come to the tool section next. Okay, now before we do anything, we're going to make sure we hit publish. One of the issues with Vapi is it doesn't autosave. So if you don't hit publish and you navigate to a different page, you lose any of the changes that you made. So we're going to go to Tools now in the sidebar here. Click on Tools. We're going to Create Tool, Custom Tool. Okay, and now we're going to rename this log emergency call. Logs emergency call to the system. Logs the emergency call to the system. Okay, now we need to configure parameters. We're going to come down to parameters, add property. So first property is going to be customer first name, and so the description will be customer's first name. We're going to leave the type as string, and we're going to check this required box, apply. I'm going to add a property. Second will be customer last name, and the description will be customer's last name. Check required, apply. Add property. This is going to be phone number, and this will be customer's phone number. Check required, apply. Add property. This will be customer email. Customer's email address, required, apply. Now this one's going to be address, and this will be customer's service address, which including street, city, and zip code. Required, apply. Next property is emergency type. So this will be type of emergency. For example, no heat, gas smell, complete breakdown, strange noises, or routine service. And I'll come back to that as to why we include that. Okay, emergency type done. I'm going to add another one is description. So this is a brief description of the issue in the customer's words. Also required, also string. And then we're going to add one more, and we're going to call it is emergency. So is this an emergency that requires immediate dispatch? So it's true for emergencies. So that's no heat, gas smells, complete breakdown, strange noises. And it's false for routine service. We're also going to keep this as required, but we're going to change the type to Boolean, so it just provides a true false. We're going to hit apply. Now we're going to come back to server settings and server URL once we get to n8n, but we want to make sure that we hit save. Otherwise these changes won't carry over. Now we're going to navigate back to assistance. We're going to scroll down to tools, and in tools you're going to now see in the drop down log emergency call. We're going to check that. We're going to publish. Okay, so we're going to leave Vapi there for a second, and in Google Sheets I just added a timestamp, call ID, phone number, and then all of these other fields that we added into Vapi, and then I put in a notes section. We're going to come back to this when we go to the n8n section. Okay, so from here we're going to now jump into n8n, Once you sign up for an account, you're going to hit create workflow, and this is what it's going to look like. Before we do anything in n8n, we're going to go here to the top left, credential, personal, and then it's going to have a pop-up add new credential. Let's look for Google Sheets. You're going to select this first one, Google Sheets OAuth 2 API. This is to connect Google Sheets to n8n. Up the top here, you can name it whatever you want, and you're going to sign in with Google, and then you're going to hit all the prompts and follow all of that. I'm not going to do that here because I've already connected my Google Sheets account, but you're going to do the same thing for Gmail, or whichever service you want. You can add Twilio to send SMS, or a whole host of other tools or services. But for this particular demo, we're just going to keep it simple with Google Sheets and Gmail. So let's go into workflow. So in the workflow, we're going to start by renaming this HVAC Emergency Handler. And we're going to add a webhook. Now we're going to change this to post. We're going to call this Vapi Emergency Handler. No, let's call it emergency call. And we're going to set this, we're going to leave everything else as is right now. Now the save button's up here. Make sure we don't lose anything. We're going to rename this trigger. Now you can see here there's a test URL and a production URL. We want to just copy the test URL, and we're going to go back to Vapi, and we're going to go to Tools, and in the log emergency tool we created earlier, in server URL, we're going to paste save. Now, one thing I didn't mention earlier is in the voice library, you can listen to a whole bunch of voices. Whereas actually in the assistant, we're not able to do that. There's no option to do that. So whether it's 11 Labs or Vapi or any others, but make sure we publish. So we're going to make a call. Now before we do that, we want to go back into n8n webhook trigger, and you want to click the listen for test event. Okay, and then it'll say listening for test event. Now to call, we're going to click on this talk to assistant.
Thank you for calling Fresh Air HVAC Services. How can I help you today?
Hi, I have an emergency.
Okay, let me get your information so we can get someone to you right away. What's your first name?
Rick.
Thank you. And your last name?
Test.
Perfect. What's the best phone number to reach you?
234-456-7899.
Let me confirm that. 234-456-7899. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. What's your email address?
rickdemotest@outlook.com.
Let me confirm that. That's rickdemotest@outlook.com. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. What's your address?
It's 123 Test Street, Chicago, 60606.
So that's 123 Test Street, Chicago, 60606. Is that right?
Yep.
Got it. Can you describe what's happening with your system?
I have no heat.
Okay, I have everything I need. I've logged this as an emergency. You'll receive an email confirmation and a technician will contact you within 30 minutes. Is there anything else I can help with?
No.
Your emergency has been logged. A technician will contact you within 30 minutes. Thank you for calling Fresh Air HVAC Services.
Okay, thanks. So we can end the call. And we want to make sure that this log emergency call tool that we created is completed successfully. We can see that. So in an n8n, now you can see we have an output section, and we're going to pin that so that we can. So next, we're going to hit this plus icon, and we're going to find Google Sheets. And then we're going to select append row in sheet. Okay, we're going to call this log to Google Sheets. And you can see the pinned data that we have from the webhook is already populating in input on the left here. Now, we're going to leave this a sheet within document. Well, we're going to make sure that your credential that you created, you select from here. Leave these sheet within document and append row. And then for document, we're going to select by ID. And then we're going to go to the Google Sheet. And I've highlighted already between the /d/ and the /edit. We're going to copy that. And we're going to enter that in to by ID. And then from list, you'll see that the call logs populates, and then it'll fetch all the columns. Now, we have the 8 columns, more than 8. We've got all the columns that we added into Google Sheets. So we want to make sure that we click expression for timestamp, and you want to enter in this. So this is what n8n recognizes as now, so you can see the timestamp format. And from the webhook, we're going to grab some of the information in here. So you can drag and drop these. So from ID, you're going to go into call ID, and it automatically populates. Green means good. If it doesn't recognize it as anything in particular, it'll, instead of it being green, it'll be red. So when I dragged and dropped, it already changed to expression. So we're going to do these for these other fields. So phone number is going to be similar as well. Customer first name. Customer last name. And you can see underneath that it's already giving you an idea of the populated fields. Address. Email. Emergency type. Description. And notes, we're going to write call received by Vapi. Vapi AI. Okay, now we're going to save it here. So next up, we're going to add another node, and we're going to look for filter. And this is an if. And we're going to rename this is emergency. So this is a conditional filter. And so what we're going to do, with all this input, we've put into the log to sheets. Now we want the output. So we're going to execute that step. And so now we've got that output. And you can see now there's a check mark here. So if we go to is emergency, now we can select the input from log to Google Sheets step or webhook trigger step. Okay. So in value, we scroll down to the webhook trigger, and we can just drag is emergency into value 1. Again, it populated green. Green means good. Here we can choose Boolean because we set that field as Boolean, and then we're going to set is true. So we're going to set it to is equal to, and then These are our two options. So true. We'll save that step. And so if it is true, we're going to add Gmail node. And this is going to be send a message. So you connect your credential. It's going to be send. And so this you can just send to yourself. This is the business owner. And then we're going to say subject is emergency HVAC call. And so then in the message, we can just say emergency call received. And if you click this little box on the bottom right, it expands your text box. So then you can add other details. Now, similar to what we had done before, if we execute this step, then it'll populate. So we need that to be the case, so that we can then craft our message. So emergency call received. So let's put in first name, last name, address, emergency type, description. Now, if we get out of this and we click here on expression and we change this to schema and we open this back up, now we can drag and drop. Address, emergency type, description, and notes. And let's put in call customer back ASAP. Okay, so remember, green is dynamic, and that's all based off what the voice agent collects, and the white is always populated. And let's call this send owner alert. And we'll save that. Okay, now what we can do is we want to send an alert to a customer as well. So we're going to open up a new Gmail. We're also going to do a send message, and let's call this send customer alert. And there's no input here because you'll see it's floating. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag. Now see how the arrow is populated green? Now we have an input. So if we go into webhook trigger here, we want the customer's email. Okay, so we can just drag that and it populates green. See here? And then we can say this is fresh air HVAC service emergency call logged. And then we can say, let's get out of this. Again, let's call this expression and let's say, hello, customer's first name. So we're just going to drag that and you can see what it looks like in real time here. We received your call about your issue. And then we can drag that. We have your details as address. Phone number. And anything else, so description or emergency type. And then we can say our service technician will give you a call within the next 30 minutes. And so now this is what the customer receives. So we can exit out of this, and hit save. So now there's one last node that we need, and this is called respond to webhook. And we're going to call this respond to Vapi. Now we change this to JSON, and I'm going to paste this in. So these are the messages it gets if it all works well. Now we're going to drag this and we can just connect it. And then if we just execute this step, we get the success. Execute this step, get the success. And then we can execute this step, and it's all done. So before we go fully live, a couple last minute things that we need to tidy up. So we want to unpin so that it can accept fresh data. And we want to go from respond using respond to webhook node. And then from test URL, we want to take the production URL, go into Vapi, tools, and we're going to change the test webhook URL to now we're going to do the production URL. Save, and then you can just toggle active. Now, because I rebuilt this and I already had the demo built, I'm going to get this error. But if you've never built it before, you should be okay with that. All right, so you just saw how to build this system from scratch. If you need to, pause, rewind, rewatch so that you can follow along and build it yourself. If you want to talk through how this system can benefit you, feel free to click the link in my description where you can book a free 30-minute call with me to see whether voice AI makes sense for you and your business. I appreciate you for watching. Subscribe if you found this valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.